Let's start with the transport infrastructure. So what does the word infrastructure mean to you? You used it before, you know this word, but how would you explain the meaning of the word infrastructure? Well, the dictionary says that the noun infrastructure is the basic physical and organizational structures and facilities, for example, buildings, roads, power supplies, needed for the operation of a society or enterprise. Though here the dictionary meaning uses the word for the level of the society. And we are talking about power supplies, road infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, for example airports, which is part of the buildings. But we will go a little bit beyond this dictionary definition. What I want you to do now, stop this video for a second and write down a couple of examples of transport infrastructure that comes to your mind. And if you're watching this video with a friend, discuss with the friend your examples you're finding, try to agree if your examples are really examples of transport infrastructure or if the other person knows a little bit more. Write this down to get them overview. Okay, pause it now. Okay, let's continue. We are interested mainly in the logistical infrastructure. And we want to look at the logistical infrastructure on two different levels. Though we distinguish between two main types of infrastructure. The first main type is the macroeconomic level. This is the very high level of the society. And the other level is the microeconomic infrastructure level. This is a more detailed view on infrastructure. On the macroeconomic level, on the level of the whole society, we have different types of economic infrastructure, and we can distinguish between different types of social infrastructure. Economic infrastructure, I believe most of you, when you thought about examples of infrastructure, of transport infrastructure, had the economic infrastructure on the macroeconomic level in mind. Though this might be transport infrastructure like a seaport with a container terminal, an airport, a road network, a pipeline network. But in addition to these things, related to transport, we have also an information infrastructure, a telecommunication and a telecommunication infrastructure. So the telecommunication infrastructure, this is something like the telecommunications network, as can be seen by mobile phone repeaters, mobile phone stations to create a mobile network with mobile internet, 5G network or fiber internet. These are examples of the telecommunication infrastructure, which is not only important for the whole society, but of course also important to operate a logistics network. And on the other hand, we have the information infrastructure. These are examples can be how the information in the country is handled, with respect to customs regulation, exchange of data with the government, management of this data. For example, if I want to set up a company, if I have to pay taxes, how is this information handled? This is a part of the information infrastructure. Okay, now let's move on from the economic level to the social level. This is also very important, and I wonder how many of you gave examples of the social macroeconomic infrastructure. So a very good example are institutions for educations like geotech. Though only because geotech is offering a logistics program will there be more education with respect to logistics on the undergraduate and graduate level in Oman. So without these institutions of education, a lot of the physical transport infrastructure cannot be used effectively. Part of the macroeconomic infrastructure are also the healthcare system, the cultural offerings, and the security infrastructure. Security is important to do business. If you are doing business in a war zone, then this will become very challenging and it does not attract investment from companies in other countries. Of course, your staff require a good healthcare and cultural offerings. So for example, if the healthcare is bad, then your staff suffers from a lot of absentee times, they don't work productive. If the cultural offerings is not there, for example, concert, opera, reading, then the level of education of the whole country is somewhat limited. It makes it also less attractive for expats, for specialists to come to the country. So we distinguish on the macroeconomic level the economic infrastructure and the social infrastructure. From the economic infrastructure, we distinguish between transport, information, and telecommunication infrastructure. And on the social macroeconomic level, we have education, healthcare, culture, and security. Okay, now let's go from the level of the whole country to the microeconomic infrastructure. Now we go into more details, and here on this level now we have something like warehouses, structural properties, technical and structural properties that support our logistics operations. Spatial means it is related to the space that is used. So what space is available, for example, how is the space used, in what way, what structural buildings are there. And with respect to logistics, of course, we are interested in warehouses. How big are these warehouses? What types of goods can be stored? Is it refrigerated? That is there proper cooling in place? Or is it designed to be operated under very difficult conditions in the desert with a lot of dust and sand? What types of goods shall be stored there? If you operate a warehouse for food delivery, grocery delivery, like Talabat is doing, this warehouse does require completely different properties than a warehouse that is operated for an oil and gas company in the desert to supply capital goods for the construction sites. What means of transport are available? Bus transport, road transport, train transport. What other equipments like conveyors are available? What type of technology is used in the country, in the warehouse? For example, what type of picking technology is used in the warehouse? Is this done by manual labor? Is it done by robots? To show you the other extreme, what type of software is used? By communication system, we now mean not something like the fiber network, but for example, the Wi-Fi repeaters within the warehouse. Is this equipped with a proper communication infrastructure? And what information systems are used? So what software systems are available to support our operations? Are the decisions supported by analytic systems, by decision support systems, is our administration in terms of where are the things stored, how to build the customer, is this supported by information systems. Though you see the microeconomic level is a much more detailed level than the macroeconomic level. Overall, we can say that the term logistical infrastructure refers to those sustainable facilities and supply channels that can be used by private households and companies. And sustainable facilities means these facilities are available for the long run. It's not something temporary, it's available for a long time. Now let's move on and look into some details of the transport infrastructure.